Talked about EV, we talked about batteries in transportation, but we see them also in buildings and in energy storage. One of the challenges with EV systems is that the most expensive part of the system is the battery.
Yes.
And extending the lifetime of that device is absolutely critical for the customer to get the most from their investment. TTape was really something to complement to what NTCs do. NTCs measure temperature very accurately in one spot. However, it's very difficult to implement it in a system to measure every cell in a battery pack. TTape was developed to do that in a very simple way, and this way the customers can extend the lifetime of their product in a more simple way.
Hello everyone, we are at Littelfuse booth, and with me here is Boris. And Boris, kindly introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi, I'm Boris Golubovich, Vice President of Marketing and Business Development for Littelfuse, and I'm very happy to speak to you about our days at Littelfuse in Electronica India.
So Boris, let's start with something of business. What are your main management challenges for 2024?
I think our sort of DNA is to be really close to the customer. So we follow our customers, and probably the biggest challenge is always to deal with really fast changing engineering environment, and led by things like AI, EVs, general electronification of industry. But that's what we're all about, trying to get to solve our customers' problems in those emerging industries.
What are the technologies and market Littelfuse is focusing on, especially to Indian market?
Yeah, so India is in some sense a driver in many aspects of electronification. In India, what we see continued as a growth factor is EV. And the slightly different EV perhaps than some of the Western countries like Europe or North America, where it's four-wheelers. In India, the two-wheelers and three-wheelers are really a unique market segment that continues to drive innovation in a different way, but in some sense also a very similar way than in other areas.
Okay. So now let's move on the product side. What's the difference between TTape and discrete thermistor in terms of temperature monitoring?
So this is an example of a product that just came about from working close with the customers. We talked about EV, we talked about batteries in transportation, but we see them also in buildings and in energy storage. One of the challenges with EV systems is that the most expensive part of the system is the battery.
Yes.
And extending the lifetime of that device is absolutely critical for the customer to get the most from their investment. TTape was really something to complement to what NTCs do. NTCs measure temperature very accurately in one spot. However, it's very difficult to implement it in a system to measure every cell in a battery pack. TTape was developed to do that in a very simple way, and this way customers can extend the lifetime of their product in a more simple way.
So can we say that is it a patented technology of Littelfuse?
It is really a revolutionary technology, I would say, compared to what we had before. It is a device that really truly allows the customer to measure the temperature of every cell in a very simple way by connecting only to electrical contact. So it really is something that it's an addition to what customers have available today, and it solves a problem of the future of extending the lifetime of batteries.
And it's a need of an hour for a battery powered device.
It's the bigger the investment in a battery, the more important it is to maintain the investment. Right. And this is our attempt to help the industry to extend the life, to get a better return on investment, and actually in the long term also avoid that one has to replace the battery, and contributing to a more sustainable world.
Okay, thanks. So my next question is related to sustainability. The Littelfuse Shanghai China team has successfully incorporated sustainability into its operations. What other sustainability approaches can we expect from Littelfuse?
So sustainability is one of those very important strategic directions or tenets for Littelfuse. And it's not one project at a time. And in using an analogy from athletes, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And it is part of many aspects of our organization. One would be making the buildings more sustainable, less water usage, using renewable energy. Others would be really starting at the beginning of a product design, making a product smaller, making it easier to dispose, using materials that are more sustainable. It really starts at the product design and goes to the entire life cycle of our products. And that is becoming part of our engineering practices across the company at large.
Great. How will you distinguish Indian market with other global regions?
Yeah, that's a tough question. India, we sometimes talk about some products like two-wheelers and three-wheelers that are quite unique to India. India is driving the world, but India has also been an engine of creating knowledge for many companies for the rest of the world. So in some sense, it's difficult to answer how it's different, but it is a really unique part of our way of dealing with technical problems, has some unique ones, and has some that are coming about from the rapid industrialization and now electronifications and investments in the industry. So it requires us to adapt to some of those fast-moving local changes. But in many sense, what India is now really also a driver in know-how for the rest of the world. Many of our global companies, our customers and ourselves, have presence in India now to really be part of this vibrant ecosystem.
So my last question is, what are some key trends you see shaping the future of electronics, and how is Littelfuse positioning itself to lead in these areas?
Key technologies is difficult to answer. I think the most important thing is we need to be very flexible to when new things come about. Littelfuse has a very broad portfolio, so we have many opportunities to react to customers' needs and changes in their needs. And I would say one of those that surprises a little bit how fast it came was AI. We talked about it a little bit earlier. It required very quick adoption of some of our products to become smaller, to be able to carry, for example, more current. And it came very rapidly with the miniaturization of all the AI equipment, or reduction in size and miniaturization of components that our customers are using in their systems. And we needed to respond very quickly. And we expect that we will have surprises like that in years to come, probably more frequent than in the past.
So any comment regarding the Littelfuse power semiconductor portfolio? Would you like to share something?
It's a broad portfolio that with power conversion becoming more prevalent is really critical to our future. And we continue to augment it with all the other products in our portfolio. And we see exciting customer projects across the board. And we've talked about earlier about sustainability, renewable energy, battery storage, all of those systems have power conversion associated with that, need for protection. We find it a very dynamic space.
Thank you, Boris, for this important opportunity.
My pleasure.